Hey, everybody, welcome to Scope Shift. I am excited for today's conversation for a couple of reasons. One, we are going to focus on the industry that I had my first career in, hospitality. Miss it a little bit, not going to lie. And we have one of the foremost leaders in the space with us today. I'm joined by Cory Falter, co-founder of Lore Agency, a B2B marketing agency helping hospitality brands create stronger revenue engines by blending strategy with performance marketing. He's the host of the InnSync Show, where he connects with top minds in the hotel and travel industry. Cory, welcome to Scope Shift.
Wow, Brian, that was quite a setup. Appreciate that. I'm not sure how I'm going to live up to that. Thanks for having me on.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited to dive deep. I genuinely have an interest in hospitality. I was talking to you a little bit before we started recording. It was my first career. And also I did try to do some hospitality stuff with the agency, never really was able to find a right fit. So I'm interested to hear how you've cracked the code. You've been running your agency for a while now. What is something your agency does now that you thought it never would?
As a former art director, I primarily worked on the B2C side, the sexy stuff in hospitality, eye candy and sizzle campaigns. I always thought when we opened up Lure Agency on Facebook engagements back then, I would focus on the B2C side, doing a shift. How about that for a nice transition there? Into a very underserved part of the industry, the B2B side. And when I say B2B side, we specifically help support independent hotel, help them sell group and corporate events on the hotel side.
Excellent.
But then we also help brands, companies, and primarily any business that is supporting hotels. So it could be insurance, it could be window and door companies, obviously a lot of tech companies.
Yep.
So it sounds super nichey, but it's really not, because on the vendor side, every type of business works with a hotel.
Got a lot of
so it's kind of my little stealthy thing of saying we're really niche focused, which we are, but we do work with quite a few other. In fact, one of our longest standing partners is a window and door company in San Diego. Shout out to Newman Windows and Doors. So yeah.
Nice. That is interesting. So you were able to take, like, you kind of niche down into hotels, but then you were able to broaden that and just really connect with it. You might be the first person I've heard use that strategy. I like that. That's a really sweet strategy.
Hey, it's all original here at Lure Agency. Just kidding. If you think about it, a hotel is like a little city. You work there. You saw all the bodies that came through your club. Everything from roofers to landscapers, every type of business supports the industry, finance, insurance, legal, roofing. They're all trying to sell to the industry. It just kind of organically came. It's a great way to sound specific, which it is, but also not be too specific, because a lot of those companies do service hotels, but they also service other industries. So
right. For sure. Yeah, no. So wasn't that shift from B2C to B2B? I mean, I would imagine that affected how you grow and what your strategies are. Was it something that just kind of happened over time, or was it like a decision and we're like, okay, we're gonna shift now?
I'm glad you asked, because the moment it really happened is that when HubSpot rolled out and they were all in on the whole concept of inbound marketing, and that concept of teaching, influencing, inspiring your customers so that they come to you. I always love that. I never was comfortable in a purely outbound, annoying, spammy approach. So that methodology appealed to me back in 2012, but it's really built for the B2B market. Yes, there's some of that in B2C, but it really hits full stride on B2B. The more that we got into those engagements and we start building out sales funnels and sales teams, it just naturally kind of magically, organically appeared on the B2B side, because again, it was underserved. And we're finding that a lot of agencies really didn't want to work with salespeople in hospitality. Marketing rarely talks to sales. They're still very siloed in this industry. It just kind of organically came that way. And I'm really glad we made that shift for good. We don't leisures or, on the B2C side, it's just not something we're passionate about.
When HubSpot was big into inbound marketing, they essentially invented the phrase. They were at least one of the 800-pound gorillas creating this whole content marketing industry. I remember the debate, is it inbound marketing or is it content marketing? And people were actually arguing about this. But you're right. I also remember, and I don't know, tell me if this rings true to you. Marcus Sheridan. Do you know who I'm talking about there? All right.
You mean the Endless Customers book? I've got, in fact, he's in my notes. My partner Susan went to Impact Live.
His story was similar to yours. He followed the HubSpot method, did all the content and inbound, and just grew so much that he all of a sudden had these B2B offerings. I mean, I think he even started a company where he created pool shells and sold them to pool companies. Like it really just having that audience and skill transformed his business and life, really.
Big time. And I love his just authentic, approachable, and the way that he's broke inbound down. HubSpot created technology, but they have an audience that understood. It was a completely different sales and marketing approach. So they had to come up with thought leadership content to support and create customers for their technology. Marcus broke that down into illustrations anybody can understand in a basic way. That resonated with me. Now we engage every day on LinkedIn together, and I just learned so much from him. In fact, his cohort Connor Delaney, I've interviewed 3 times. He's a 3-time podcast interview on my InnSync show. So I can't think.
Wow, awesome.
Those guys are amazing. Yeah.
I had no idea you were dialed in that much with Marcus and his team. That's awesome. When dealing with your hospitality clients, what are your core service offerings, and how do you, I guess, and maybe you do it this way, maybe you don't, but typically I see a lot of agencies, they might go to a client with something small and they get their foot in the door and they're able to kind of grow the relationship from the inside. Is that an approach you take, or how do your core services really complement your clients right now in hospitality?
Great question, because a lot of we've been consciously trying to move away from an agency that just lists services and going towards a solution or a problem agitate solution framework.
Nice.
And really being very selective on who we partner with, because in the B2B side, you have to have, it is literally a partnership versus a B2C, because you can run performance marketing ads and whatnot with not, I'd say involvement, but you can get a lot done on the B2C side with not a whole lot of mind shift or buy-in without the company. When you've got a sales team involved and you've got leads coming in and you need to have people follow up in leads and check lead scoring and blah, 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 there has to be an on-board type of process there. So we're very diligently and careful about our discovery, making sure they are experiencing issues that primarily, if it's a hotel, they're down on group sales or they want to generate more direct group,
right?
Which is a whole unique thing in the industry because most of it's through third parties, and I'll mention a little bit later. So it's not necessarily foot in the door. Now, we are offering levels of service like Impact. We're moving towards that model. The value is in the strategy, and we know what works with AI and some of the other tools that come out.
Yeah.
To create the content and a lot of other things, it's a lot easier now. It's more about the mind shift, and if they're willing to do things differently. In hospitality, this is totally new, believe it or not.
Yeah.
This industry still has fax machines, and they send checks in the mail.
My son was applying for a job the other day at a hospitality place. It said, send your application to our fax, and it listed the number. I was like, buddy, don't even bother. Like, let's just move on. It's just crazy.
I'm a Gen Xer, started my career analog. I'm conscious of too much tech or really too much relying on tech. In hospitality, I think there's now this argument of, is tech trying to replace, are they trying to replace the human touch and the human element with tech where that's not appropriate? So I am totally conscious of that. But when you're bogging your sales team down and you're having them do remedial, and you're not using automation and you're not doing things that could really alleviate them so they can find more time to do what you and I are doing right now, they're just frantically busy doing busy work. Yep. That's when you got to say, hey,
time to fix this.
Totally.
I agree. You mentioned AI tools into play. Is that something where it sounds like you've implemented some AI stuff at Lore? Do you also help any of your clients implement these tools? Tell me what you have going on with AI right now.
Yeah, funny. I just got the call right before me. My partner, Susan, who's a tech geek nerd, she's the science of our operation. We're building custom GPTs. We now have a hotel website AI grader, which grades based on EEAT. You're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
And what's happening with agentic search and how you need to rank for that. Beyond SEO, we are in search everyone optimization. The way we're going to find products and services is different signals, trust signals, and it's going from a product to a people exchange. And so we're building out these really easy tools that literally can put in websites, or they can put in the prompt and they can check, do some of the self-assessment, find out where they're at right now. But then most importantly, we're all on video, taking a page right out of Endless Customers, video on every page, video. You can't overboard enough on video. Apps like Descript and Opus Clip, our go-tos, have made it easy. I love doing it myself. It's been fun.
Nice.
And then naturally, chat with some great prompts and some other things. That's still the OG. There's a lot of other things coming up, but the custom GPTs of chat or of the OpenAI make it almost like the WordPress of AI tools, because it's all this customization that's built around the ecosystem. Why would you choose anything else? The things you can bolt onto it are just so amazing.
Yep, for sure. So it does sound like you're doing both. You've got it in play inside the agency, and you're also bringing AI tools to your clients.
Absolutely.
It's always a struggle in agency life. Cash flow, profitability. I mean, these are things we've always got to be keeping our eye on. Is there one move you made or one service or product you're offering where you feel like that really helped for any other agency owners that might help?
Yeah, it's funny you'd mentioned that. One of the changes as I get older in life, I'm 58 now. When you build out an agency early on, you're like, it'd be great to have this killer Inc. 500 agency with a ton of staff. You know what? I'm the exact opposite of that right now. I see a lot of agencies struggle with that because of the staff, and it's such a hands-on business. Now it's like, how can we monetize farther and not bring on any more staff? And there's 5 of us. Primarily, Susan and I do a lot of the heavy lifting. But I think a very undervalued, or I guess things that we're exploring more, are partnerships, which referral network. So building out videographers and people you've vetted, you know that they're going to crush it for you.
Yep.
You can send them out on your behalf with full trust, full transparency. Maybe build in some management fees and direct that on that level. So, it's a bill and remit. So they bill direct, and, maybe I get some revenue from management in the strategy portion of that, but they're fulfilling it and they're doing much better in trying to, rather than you try to coordinate yourself. Trusted partners and affiliates. All the new tools out there have aggressive affiliate programs. 20% affiliates, great way if you're using the tool yourself, recommend it to your partners. They sign up direct. You get a commission check. We're not doing a ton of that right now, but our new CRM and 4 or 5 tools right now that are in our tool house that we use ourselves in good conscience. So we could, vouch for them to go through our vetting process. So that's an easy way that we're exploring to build more revenue streams, which align with our integrity and trust.
Absolutely. Those are 2 great ways to go about it for sure. And it sounds like you're doing a lot of strategy work directly with your clients. I've found when I'm doing strategy work, I start to feel scope creep coming in. You have to recommend things you don't necessarily do, or you just know they'd be better served, or I don't have the capacity to do this right now, but strategically it's the right thing for them to do. How do you avoid scope creep in situations like that?
To be honest, I've never been great at that, because we view ourselves as a trusted partner. We call our clients partners. We're vested in their success, because if they don't see the ROI, we're out. We're trying to be a little bit more diligent on knowing who we can help, because it's not going to be everybody. There are times that we've recommended us going out of our scope, that knowing that there's a hole there, or part of our engagement, somebody on their team was supposed to do it and they couldn't. We're here to do that.
Right.
At the end of the day, we want results. If somebody can't fulfill it on the client side, we have to step in and do it. We're more than happy to do it. Now, if you're saying our website crashed and we need to design a new one, that's a different story. Under normal circumstances, whatever it takes for our clients to succeed is what we do.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you really have built that culture inside of Lore Agency too, right? Like calling your clients partners and really saying like, we're here to serve them, whatever it takes. Was there anything in particular you did to build that culture? Is it something that happened organically over time, or was it a conscious decision?
Yeah, knowing where we're at with the B2B side, it is a partnership. Sales has to, fulfill what we're if we're bringing them golden leads or these opportunities, we can only, we can't sell it. So it really is a partnership, different from B2C. So it's not a click to book or a click to buy. It's, can you let us know if it closed won, closed lost, what happened?
Yep.
Now, if it gets out of hand and that person's moved on and they can't fulfill it, and we've got to step in, maybe it's a month or so. It's like, hey guys, we got to reassess this. This wasn't part of our original deal.
Yep.
Hey, we totally understand. We appreciate you stepping in temporarily. Got somebody hiring in. Can you reassess?
Let's talk about you.
Maybe 30 days, even a couple of months, we've had to step in temporarily. So no sweat.
Yeah, you've talked a couple times about marketing sales alignment, right? It's quite shocking when you see how siloed things are. Is that something that you find you're dealing with all of the time? Have you developed some products or services to help the sales end for your clients? How are you managing that misalignment? Because it is rampant for sure.
Getting back to market share, and this rings more true now than ever. 80% of what was sales is now marketing. It's now way more than that with agentic search. So the notion of, in hospitality, especially on the meetings and events side, the lack of understanding on how much the website does the selling for the salespeople. We're still seeing resistance there. Most hotel websites, B2B part is a glorified digital brochure with an RFP catcher. It's not an optimized site like a traditional B2B company. It's treated like all the other pages, and it's just eye candy. We're getting into trust element of EAT and more about showing versus how can I help you execute an amazing event? And that requires people, and that requires trust and expertise. Hotels need to look at that, and vendors, because it's not just the widget that's going to help solve your problem. You need to, there's a human element involved to walk you through the problem agitate solution framework. There's still a lot of work to do. In hospitality, there's a term to bring marketing, sales, and revenue management together called commercial strategy. Even with that, there's still a big divide. Marketing people are rarely on calls with salespeople, except with our partners, because you need to get firsthand input from the salespeople. What's the objections, challenges, questions? That needs to be part of your content development. You got to get that firsthand from sales. We're beginning to see some shift. It's been a slow process, but I think they've got no choice, by the way. This shift is coming fast and furious. And it's crazy because it's going to disrupt this entire industry, which has been built on intermediaries, by the way. So on the group and meeting side, there's been Cvent, Meetings Broker, Helms Briscoe. There's a lot of people in the middle between the hotel and the meeting planner. AI is going to connect a lot of that directly. That's really going to disrupt a lot of the industry.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I had a client, executive offices, getting 80% of their deals through brokers. Brokers take a big chunk of change. When we started digital marketing, he was like, oh my God, I can fill my place and I don't have to get anything from these brokers. This is amazing, right? So he's able to see that ROI fast because he didn't have to pay brokers anymore. The hotel industry is ripe for that right now.
A lot of people in hospitality don't factor in the unintended consequences of offloading your customer relationship. The long-time value of that customer is broken because you no longer have the relationship. Somebody else has it. You have to reacquire that guest through a third party, and then you've got customer service through a third party. That is just not a great way to do business, especially when you're fulfilling it with people.
One of the biggest assets any business can have is the relationship with its customers. Even if you're not a service business, that is a monstrous asset. When you outsource to a third party, you're losing that asset. The things you're talking about, I can see how this would be helpful. You've mentioned EEAT a few times. For folks who might not know, that's basically Google's framework for how you get ranked higher in the search engines. It stands for expertise, experience, authority, and trust. I love the tactic you were talking about where marketing has to sit in with sales and hear those customer questions, hear those customer objections. Then you can put that on your website and meet those EEAT requirements. The real benefit is more people see your stuff and call your salespeople. How many calls do hotels miss because they don't have that information on their website?
Or even using just basic automations. If they say, hey, look, do you have a menu or a price? They've got to manually and send that to the person. Maybe it's 12 hours down the road. Basics, no one wants to wait. I don't want to wait. You don't want to wait. This bride or a person who's trying to set up a meeting doesn't want to wait. They shouldn't have to wait.
Yeah.
Yet they're still gatekeeping that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up brides right there because I wanted to ask you, like, my experience at country clubs, we did lots of weddings. That was a big piece of how I even got into digital marketing. I was working at a club and I was studying SEO, and I was like, we need to rank for wedding venue in Charlotte. So they let me build stuff and we started ranking for it. We went from 7 weddings one year to 37 the next. I think the sale to a bride and the sale to somebody running a conference or a business, it's a totally different sale. Right? There's so many more emotions at play with brides. Do you find hotels struggle with understanding that sale is different, especially through a third party, losing the mojo right there up front?
It is. The similarities is that it's a big ticket item.
Right.
Right. A lot of trust and vetting goes into it because it is an emotional buy on the personal side. Over half of meetings are planned that aren't meeting planners. They're administrative assistants. So their job is on the line. If that meeting goes sideways.
Yeah. It's emotional to them. That's for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's a similarity in because of the trust. Their job might be on the line. Well, their most important day could be on the line. A bit different process, similar buyer's journey. Lots of questions, tons of trust. They want all the information now and they don't want to wait. And they want to be able to talk to somebody without going through a gatekeeper. And unfortunately, a lot of hotels or venues are still playing hard to get.
It is wild. And it's interesting. I feel like they implement some of these hard to get processes. There's different reasons and it's impossible to know, but a lot of times I think they're trying to protect their people's time. Engage with this chat bot or we'll email you back within 24 hours. Like you said, they should be implementing some automations to free up that person's time so that they can actually be having these face-to-face or phone call interactions with potential customers.
I keep hearing backlash about AI chatbots, AI video. People don't want that. If you're hit too early on with an artificial avatar, Marcus talk about that a little bit. And I know but like you said, why not, if they want to talk to somebody, give them that opportunity, but give them everything else that they can at their disclosure. If they wanted to do that, that would give them time to do a one-on-one, because I think if they want to talk to somebody, but you're forcing them to do an artificial journey, I think that's going to leave a bad taste.
Yeah, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head. Doing it too early in the journey, you lose them. They turn around and they leave. B2B, B2C, everything's person to person. Nothing happens until it's person to person.
Exactly. I could not agree with you more. Yep. Yeah. And ironically, it's funny because AI going through this whole agentic search journey, all signals are pointing to being more human than we've been. Like it's telling us, you need to do this, all these trust signals, all this, and it's the exact opposite of AI, which
is fascinating. It's kind of like now that machines have had the capability to take on some of the tools that humans do, humans crave real interaction with another human even more. And it also just shows people, your prospects, your customers, like I just care more, right? Like if I'm willing to do this person to person, it shows I care more. Yeah. So we're definitely getting into some interesting stuff, even a year or two ahead. You mentioned a shift that's coming in the hospitality industry where those third-party brokers are probably going to get removed, right? There's going to be an AI between the customer and the end hotel or venue. Any other big shifts in hospitality over the next couple of years?
I hope, I mean, overall, I'm obsessed with the industry, trying to learn. I think getting back to what I was talking about is having the benefit of viewing this through the lens of a Gen Xer, analog versus digital, and my daughters who are 20, not understanding, having difficult eye-to-eye contact, having a conversation. Appropriate application of technology needs to be immediately assessed, because I use this analogy of Chipotle. Chipotle gives me the opportunity. I could stand out at Chipotle, use the app, order it myself. I know it's going to be right. I like the control. Go pick it up. Or I can get in line and walk down the line. I don't necessarily want an experience, but they're giving me the choice. If I want a conversation, I can do that. Hotels are notoriously behind technology. And when they find a piece of tech, they go all in. This is not what the guest wants. They want human interaction. not being forced down a particular direction because it might alleviate another headcount at whatever. So I see that shift coming, and I'm specifically, the big shift I see now is from a show me to a teach me in these trust signals.
Interesting.
Because the intermediate, as you mentioned, the intermediaries, including on the leisure side, as you know, Booking.com, Expedia, I'm sure you've been to those sites before. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the whole industry is having intermediaries, third parties, get their acquisition for them. But now with agentic search, I'm learning that it's going to bridge all of that. And I know the OTAs are already anticipating that. But hotels that see this shift and want to reacquire their guests directly, right now is the time to do that, because they have the opportunity to build the content, get their site optimized, get all the things that they need that chat's telling them they do to acquire more direct.
Yep.
All the bonuses we talked about. Hotels do that. Some realize why and have the resources to do that. The brands are going to have a problem because the brands can't touch their website. It's a set it and forget it scenario.
Yeah.
So we're in a really interesting dynamic for those that understand the shift. We're leading the charge. Our content is about agentic search. It's going to transform business. Web4, it's going to be crazy. And this industry is just not yet understand the impact, ramification.
No, that's amazing. You bring up a good point. The big brands are the Titanic. It's going to take them longer to turn around, whereas boutique hotels can be more agile and make a quicker move. Do you find yourself working mostly with brands and hotels in like kind of that boutique space, that mid-market space?
Yeah, it's ironically, we've shied away from brands because of the red tape. You can't touch the website, as you know, adding snippets of code and through our website greater, it's easy on the vendor side because we got more access to the site, but the website's so important. If it's locked down, you're really in a difficult scenario. And because there's so many improvements that you need to be on the website to convert to direct business rather than an RFP form and all this friction. Independence is something we gravitate to. The ones that are open-minded and progressive.
Try something new, right? Be willing
and new to hospitality.
Yeah.
This has been going on for ages. It just has not happened in hotels yet. Now's the time because they don't have to depend on others to get your business, right? You're saving a commission and you own the customer.
Yep. Huge.
They want a relationship with you. Don't give it to somebody else.
Absolutely. This has been awesome. Truly insightful. I'll wrap it up in a couple minutes here. Is there one thing you see coming over the horizon for your agency, for Lore, in the next year or so, or a piece of advice that you would offer an agency owner, something that they should be paying attention to, or something you've done that you're like, hey, make sure you do this. It's going to help you. Anything that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, unfortunately, I tipped my hand earlier. I've been following the impact model a lot, endless customers, and what they've been teaching about a done with you model. So Lure is moving to a 3-stage, and it's not necessarily unique for agencies. A lot of agencies are moving to concierge client. So if we will do it for you which is primarily most of our clients right now. And then a done with you, which we're moving to a 4-session. It's a cohort style. We call them breakouts because no one understands what a cohort is in hospitality, but they understand breakout. It's based on our philosophy of website, intel, nurture, and sell. So we have a 4-session done with you model that's going to teach you exactly what we're doing on the concierge model, our side, to teach those that have resources to do it themselves. And then we're going to offer those same DIY models who want to just go at it alone. So
that's awesome. You must be excited to do that. I mean, that's kind of that's a big shift from a full kind of done for you agency into including those done with you and do it yourself models. It's got to be pretty exciting times over there.
It is, and I think the times now, I think a lot of agencies could move because, like I said, I think the content production has been laborious, tough to get a handle on. Now it's easier. The value is the strategy. Let's do what works for others, replicate that, and coach you along the way and stand in when you need help. I don't know if that type of model would have been as easy for us to conceive and other than now. now is I think the really good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm thinking about doing some of the same things on my side too. The tools have become available that make it easier to make those offerings. And also, you and I, we've both been in business for a while. You learn lessons along the way that you can then share. So I think some of it is just that you got to earn your bones, so to speak.
Absolutely. The most important part is ultimate trust and transparency. Good, bad, or ugly. Marcus's post about black hat SEO. People are trying to game that system. They're trying to game the agentic search by, continually prompting it with the same questions about river pools and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
No, it's not going to work that way. You got to play by the rules.
Yeah.
There is no more bad actors. You're going to get vetted. You've got no choice but to play by the rules and be open and transparent.
It's not 2005 anymore. You got to play by the rules for sure. Well, Cory, again, this was awesome. Where can people find you? What are your social medias, your website?
Well, I lurk way too long on LinkedIn throughout the day. I post twice daily. Usually it's 5:30 PST and usually 2:30 PST on both hotel group sales and hospitality vendors. Tuesday, Thursday is my cadence. Funny posts on Friday. You can always find me on LinkedIn, and you can always come hang out with us we have a virtual speakeasy bar on our website, Lucy's Lounge. That's always a fun little escapade. And we're going to have a virtual kind of a meet and greet today on a live session. So that ought to be fun.
Cory, thank you again. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate the opportunity.